You know what? We're taking away from Divinity.
Yeah.
Just Johnny's over there. He's looking pissed off. I want to know why, my friend. Gonna kick it over. Just Johnny got to play Divinity 2 Electric Boogaloo. Give us the lowdown, sir.
So, Divinity 2 Original Sin, sequel to Divinity Original Sin.
They're doing original sins left and right.
Yep. That was a
moonwalking on sacred ground.
That was a Kickstarter game that became very successful, and it was a Kickstarter game for a franchise, the Divinity franchise, which is this old top-down isometric action-y-ish more tactical.
Wait, now from what I saw, it looked a lot along the lines of similar to the Dynasty series.
Dynasty.
Yeah, do you know Dynasty? Dynasty Warriors.
No, definitely not.
Okay, all right, then lay it on me, dude. I've been misinformed.
So
Dynasty, full soap operas and Divinity.
So it's a PC sort of mainstay back in like the late 90s and early 2000s, where just about most of the PC games were either RTSs or tactical action-y RPGs, point-and-click RPGs. And Divinity was one of the lesser ones known about it. They came out. They did the Kickstarter to reboot it. It came out. It was absolutely fantastic. And now this is the sequel to the first one that was really, really well done. And it just does everything the first one does. It does every single thing way better. It sort of streamlines, because there were definitely problems with the first one. The writing wasn't done as it was very hammy, and sort of like all the characters were just, they'd go way over the top on their voice acting.
This would be the first video game to have like a corny story and poor voice.
Yeah, right.
No. It wasn't poorly executed. It was just hammed up for the sake of just being just over the top. Think like Robin Hood, and Men in Tights, like that level, like the Princess Bride, that level of like weirdness. So it's like taking that level of humor.
Yeah.
So it's like taking that level of humor into a more serious RPG, tactical RPG experience in this very.
Wait, so this is like the gritty reboot.
This
gritty reboot of Divinity.
So Divinity Original Sin is sort of like a reboot of the entire franchise. And the first one, they didn't pay. So what I would say is they didn't pay too much attention with the story, not so much the story, but the writing and making the characters. But they did. It was just they made them. Every character was just completely non-serious, over the top in everything that was happening. They were overly flamboyant. They were overly dramatic. They were overly comical. For the sake of being one of the first characters that sort of guides you throughout the story in the first one was this mage that loves turning into a cat any time they can, and always like talks about how great it is to be a cat and doing all these catsy things.
It's great to be a cat. Sleep anytime you want. People bring you food
all the time.
Poop all over the place and pretend, I had an accident again. The regurgitation, talking hairballs, like claiming you a territory.
Definite nods to bestiality. First one.
You went there.
The game went there. I didn't go there.
All right. Divinity.
Yeah.
Wait. A game called Divinity.
Yep.
Original Sin. You would think there'd be some kind of like holy theme to it.
It eventually builds its way towards that, and so in the first one, it's about your characters and how you realize your characters are way more important into the story. Same thing here, except done from a different perspective. So the first game has you as source hunters. Trying to solve this murder mystery, and that's a big chunk of the first part of the game is figuring that out and going to different places, gathering clues. Almost like
killed the cat.
You kind of feel like a Scooby-Doo type of thing is going on, because you have to talk to a lot of different NPCs. There's nothing more just like the first game, the second one is also very heavy into the role playing and into the NPC character interactions and talking to other people in town. But unlike the first one, there are multiple ways in Divinity Original Sin 2 to do or solve or to progress in a sub-quest.
I was really hoping to say to do harm to the people that it annoys.
Well, yeah. You can outright kill NPCs. There's none of the invincible...
Can I have fun with it?
Yes.
I've tripped them into a trench. They can't swim. I watched them drown in the puddle.
They die. Whatever story
I beat them to death
or
with their
quests
own
are
puppet.
associated with them are gone, but you can still progress in the game. It's very out there and sort of like how multifaceted it is with and how flexible the story is. Where you try to test it and you bend it and it doesn't break. It's like, oh, you wanted to do this other thing and kill this character that you think is integral to the entire end game sequence. Nope. Nope. Sure, go ahead. Kill it, and we'll just accommodate for that in this other way. And it adjusts. So that's one part of it that it executes better. The writing is better. It's toned down when it needs to be toned down. It's ramped up when it needs to be ramped up. In the first one, you could talk to one of the parts that made it so whimsical is that you could talk to, if you pick up a certain talent, you could talk to animals. And in this one, they brought that back. And yeah, and this one they brought it back, and that's just one of the elements that makes it so interesting is that not only are the animals in this one especially are they useful, but in the first game it was like every animal was useful. They're always going to give you something useful. This one, there's this random crab on the beach, and you go and talk to her. It's like, I am this great sorceress person. Don't
Like
mess
Willow,
with me.
almost.
I am
Seems legit.
amazing. And then,
Everyone knows crabs are really terrible conversation.
Yeah.
and that's it. It's just you go down like this massive dialogue tree with that crab talking about how grand they are and how powerful they are, and all of a sudden it's like, no, that's the end of it. But then there's
how
this.
delicious they are.
But then there's this
Crackers.
fiery.
Yeah, can you eat the crab?
You can, yeah. And then there's this fiery in this other area entirely. There's this fiery slug queen, and if you don't have the pet talk talent, you can't talk to them, and they immediately start attacking you. But when you do talk to them, you find out this entire like backstory lore, how she was betrothed to this Baraxis guy who's apparently like this super in the first game. I don't know if it ties directly into the first game or not, but it ties into like this super powerful sorcerer user. Transforms this princess into the fiery slug, leaves her in order to do his own things. Meanwhile, her and all of her sort of royal court are all slug people, and she commands over all of them. And she wants you to announce to the rest of the world that because you tell her that Braxis is now dead, she then asks you to announce to the world that she is free and available for any new prince-like suitors.
Yeah.
And
As a
it's
slug.
just out as a slug.
I'm so here for this.
Well, hold on a
there
second.
as a
This
flaming
sounds
slug.
interesting and weird to me. I'm
I mean,
hearing
is there
sign
any other
over here
better
on my right
kind?
side. Mix, you seemed unimpressed for a while.
No, you can eat the crab. This sounds great.
Okay.
I can go talk to a crab and then just shove it in my mouth. This is a wonderful open. I eagerly await to play in this world.
Yeah. Have you played the original?
No.
First?
No.
Okay. So this is all new stuff.
Yeah. This is new stuff that you'll see, and this is also stuff that's very early in the game. So the start of this game is you are a source user, and source users in this universe are like they're thought of as being very evil people because source is sort of like it's like mana, but it's soul. So you're like draining someone's soul, or what people
Very
believe,
appealing.
draining their soul in order to
Goals.
use these superpowers.
So you're not a good person.
Well, you're accused, and therefore you go to prison. This sort of source user prison. It's kind of like Alcatraz, and that's the first segment of this game where it is escape from Alcatraz. But because it's so open-ended in how you can figure out many different quests and many different subquests and how to get out, and each one of them will allow you to do it, or you could do multiple ones at the same time, or just like kill off entire branches of a way to escape. Like there would be this one guy's like, get me this one device.
Instead of exacting revenge on my specific enemies, I'm just like destroying and sending everybody to hell left and right.
Yeah.
Oh, you drive this
yes.
boat, you're going to hell. Oh, you sell fruit on the corner, you're going to hell as well.
You can save people, not save people. So that's once again, that's all like the storyline stuff. Very good, very fantastic.
What about the gameplay itself?
The gameplay is just like the first one, and what made the first one so interesting, and this one takes it to the next level, is that it has this big mechanic where you're laying down these surfaces on the ground itself, and these surfaces, and also the weather itself and the environment, sort of have a play. So if there is a pool of water, someone standing in a pool of water, you can shoot a lightning attack and electrify the water and anyone standing in that water, Or it doesn't even have to be water. If you attack someone with a weapon and they bleed, right? Blood is also made of water. So you can electrify the blood pool, and anyone standing in that blood pool gets electrified.
Neat.
That's cool.
I just got a little giddy.
Yeah,
That's
it's
cold-hearted.
Yeah, that sounds
wild
neat.
like that. If there are like oil barrels around, or if there are mech-based creatures, you can attack them. Instead of blood, they bleed oil. And then if you have fire available to you, you can ignite that oil, and it explodes in this wondrous fiery.
Dude, that'd be
inferno.
hardcore. It's like you make you bleed, then you're gonna electrocute the blood, and like,
yeah,
that's
no,
that's
I'm-
the
I'm
great
I'm
fatality
loving
from
this
Mortal Kombat, right there.
So hard. Okay. Now here's the legitimate question, because I play Fallout and I'm a horrible person.
Yep.
So I just spend hours on end, days if I can swing it. Just being the most sadistic a-hole as I can.
Yep.
In the wasteland.
Better to get it out
Can-
there than in the real world, I guess.
I think so. So
We're all there.
is this the game where eventually you have to jump back on the rails and play the quest and scenarios, or can I just decide to free roam and just be the most heinous, ungodly, unholy, sadistic SOB that I can,
Well,
purely for kicks and giggles?
so the scope is
Malevolence is my middle
significantly.
name.
The scope compared to like an open world RPG is significantly smaller, right? You have these big open environments, but they are smaller, contained, big open environments. So, like the opening area is this Alcatraz-like island. You're confined to this island and all the different sort of caves and places that this island leads to. You're not able to sort of go to other places immediately and like just really go off the beaten path. But while you're there are very much multiple things for you to do.
Okay. So it sounds like gameplay's moving you. Story is moving you more than it was in the original version.
Yes.
Okay. So I mean, dude, would I be out of my way in guessing you're
Oh yeah,
out of
definite.
place in guessing this is a positive?
This is a definite thumbs up. I mean, the first game is fantastic, and this game does everything that the first one does, but
Improves it.
better. It's available on Steam, and just Steam, and it's for $45 on Steam.
Oh, not a bad hit. Still a hit. Not a bad hit.
Yeah.
Especially since you had such a positive reaction to it.
Well, it's worth a full traditional $60 price tag. It's absolutely worth that, and the fact that they're only charging $45 for this is, like this is a 100-hour-long game. Oh, best part,
Yes.
multiplayer from the start. The entire campaign, the story campaign, is playable. I can't believe this is like a very important thing. It's
How can
entirely
you forget this, Johnny? Come on.
it's entirely
Hit the
multiplayer.
game.
It's you could play with three other people, so do 4-player co-op, and
All of you just molesting cats.
as you're
whole
talking
time.
to
Going.
NPCs, the other people that are playing in the same game as you, they can do other things or make decisions that contradict your story-based decisions, and then you'll have a fight. You have to actually fight it out with one another to decide what the group is ultimately going to do. It's
Okay, so-
wild.
All right. Hey, more power to you. It sounds I don't know what to make of that last part, because you just said you can fight over what to do with the game. So I'm like, you all can bicker back and forth and
Yes.
get nothing accomplished.
Well, when it gets to like a major decision, yeah.
All right, okay. Hey, it sounds like
All right.
living in a dorm room.
Yeah,
Go for it.
yeah, like should this person live or die? And you say, oh, they should live, and the other person they should die, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
you
all right.
decide. You decide whether who lives or dies, just like I did in my dorm room. Sure.
Yes, I think we all were there.
All right, Divinity Original Sin 2. It got Johnny sexually excited. We recommend you check it out. All right, now I'm going to kick it over to Mix Macabre. You
Speaking
got
of
the
sexually
inside stuff.
excited.
Indeed, you got